So we're back in with another video for Outriders now. This will be the fourth video in a pretty short series. So in these videos, what we've been doing, we've been looking at each of the four different classes in the game. We've been checking out some abilities that aren't actually available in the demo and having a look at some legendary sets that will be available in the full game as well. So with the other classes covered, it means we have the Technomancer to cover last. He's the support style class in the game. We actually have access to gameplay for all of his abilities. So you've got the four abilities that are in the demo, of course we've got access to that, but the four remaining abilities actually have gameplay for them as well. So it's the full house we've got for the final video here, and then we've got two legendary sets to look at as well. Now before we jump in and we break it all down, if you're enjoying the content, take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button, and let's now jump in and we'll start off by looking at the skills first. As mentioned then, it's 8 different skills in total that we will look at for the Technomancer. The 4 that are in the demo, I'll very quickly show off some gameplay for them for anyone that hasn't played the demo, but they are Scrapno, Cryo Turret, Pain Launcher and Blighted Rounds. And then via the in-game accolades and also gameplay footage I've been able to find, the 4 remaining skills are called Tool of Destruction, Fix and Wave, Cold Snap and Blighted Turret. Let's very quickly look at the 4 skills that are available in the demo first. First ability then is Scrapno. So with this one, throw a proximity mine, explosion deals damage and it interrupts the skills of enemies caught within the blast radius. A legendary set that we're going to look at later on allows you to have up to 6 of these per cooldown, and they'll actually explode into smaller grenades as well. Really pretty awesome. The next skill we have here is a great one for playing solo and distracting enemies, so it's Cryo Turret. With this you place an automated turret, it deals damage and it inflicts freeze onto enemies. The turret's health depletes slowly over time and when it takes damage. We have Pain Launcher up next. If you can place this down at the right time on larger enemies you can do a huge amount of damage on them, but with this one here you place a missile launcher and bomb in the area in front of you. Each missile deals a set amount of damage per hit and it interrupts enemy skills as well. We then have a buff to the rounds that the Technomancer fires, so you also have this with the Pyromancer and also the Trickster, but the Devastator doesn't have this. In this instance it's called Blighted Rounds. You fill your current weapons and magazine with decay-infused bullets that inflict toxic onto enemies. Enemies within a small radius of the main target also receive toxic and 50% of damage. The skill lasts until you reload or switch weapons. Now let's look at the new ones I've been able to find details on. So the first one we have here is called Tool of Destruction, but it should actually be called Tools of Destruction, because depending on how you activate this, whether or not you hold down the button or you tap it, you're either going to whip out a Gatling gun or you're going to whip out a rocket launcher, which as you can see it looks really pretty amazing. The rocket launcher will interrupt enemies, you've actually seen it in the gameplay clip just there, and I think the Gatling gun will be more for just pure damage, but this is a pretty awesome ability, this one. The next ability we have is one that really makes the Technomancer unique, so it's a healing ability, something no other character has. So this is called Fix and Wave. When you activate this it will heal allies, it will heal your turrets, but on top of that as well they don't have to be near you, so they can be at the other side of the map and you can activate this and it will still heal them, so it's going to be a really useful ability for multiplayer. The next ability we have here is Cold Snap. With the kit for the Technomancer it's a mixture of toxic and also freeze as well. This is a large range AoE freeze, so if you're getting chased down by a group of melee characters you just fire this off, and as you can see in the gameplay here it just really leaves them open for a follow-up ability, or else you can just whittle them down with your weapon. So again, will be a really useful ability. The final skill we look at here before we check out the legendary sets will be Blighted Turret. So second turret you've got, the first one was a Cryo Turret, this one does toxic damage, so you've got the choice of going for more crowd control with Cryo or going for damage with toxic, or if you want you just combine both of them, and I'm quite intrigued to see what kind of mods we can get around buffing these particular turrets. Could you do a full turret build? That could be pretty awesome if you could. But let's now have a look at the legendary sets that we've got access to. For this first set then we have access to two different pieces for it. It's called the Grim Inventors set. Looks to be based around the Tools of Destruction skill. Now if we look at the mask on this, you've got the first mod, which is Rocket Man. So with this Tool of Destruction you can shoot 3 additional rockets, and then you've got upgraded gun, again buffing Tool of Destruction. With this, active skills grant 20% resistance penetration bonus, and then you've got the Grim Inventor set, and as with all the sets you only need to equip 3 pieces to get the set bonus, meaning you've got another 2 gear slots you can use for other upgrades. But if we check this out, every enemy hit with Pain Launcher restores 20% of ammo for Tool of Destruction. Can happen once per Tool of Destruction usage, so essentially it just gives you a higher uptime on it. We then have the Grim Inventor's coat. So with this one, the first mod is Cannonade. This particular one, it buffs Pain Launcher, increases the number of rockets launched by 10. I've actually seen some mods that can increase the damage the rockets do. Put the two of them together and you're going to be doing a huge amount of damage. And then you have Fortify, so when you use Tool of Destruction you activate the skill and it grants you an armour bonus. So as mentioned, with that legendary set we only have access to 2 pieces, but this next set we're going to look at, it has access to 5 different pieces, and this is the one that allows you to throw up to 6 of those proximity grenades, so pretty insane. So this legendary set is called Torrential Downpour. The first mod we have is Breathe In. When you use Fixing Wave, that's your heal, it reduces the skill's cooldown by 20%. And then we have More Traps. So with this, with Shrapnel, you get 1 additional mine can be thrown before triggering the cooldown. The set bonus for this one is Torrential Downpour. So Shrapnel creates additional cluster bombs after explosion. This ties in really nice with the fact you can fire multiples of them. The next gear piece we have is the upper armour. The first mod is Trap Cluster. This one doubles the number of mines that can be thrown before triggering the cooldown. So when we look at later pieces you can get 1 other mine, so that means in total you get 3, and this is what doubles it up to 6. Pretty awesome. The next mod is Cleansing Wind. So when you use your heal, which is Fixing Wave, activating the skill removes negative statuses from allies and grants 5 seconds immunity from them. That can be really useful actually, and again from a multiplayer perspective. We then have the gloves up next. The first mod here is Anomaly Echo. This one grants a firepower and anomaly power bonus on skill activation for 15 seconds. And then we have Fine Tuned. This is buffing Shrapnel again, increases the detection and explosion radius by 33%. Load armour next. Here we have Head of the Ward. So reviving an ally also fully restores their health. That's kind of further supplementing the support build that you run with the Technomancer. And then more damage. Shrapnel increases the skill's damage by, in this instance, 284. That's what I was talking about earlier on. So with this set you can fire 6 of them. You have the cluster mines coming off them. You increase the radius and you increase the damage as well. The final item we have here then is a legendary foot gear. So we have Quartermaster as the first mod. When you use Fixing Wave, activating the skill replenishes 1 weapon magazine for each ally, cooldown of 45 seconds on that. And then we have Supplies. So again you're buffing Shrapnel, 1 additional mine can be thrown before triggering the cooldown, and as mentioned that's what allows you to fire the 6 additional mines per cooldown in total, which is pretty amazing. I can't wait to actually just throw them all down because they are proximity mines, and then just have a wave of enemies come towards you and just see them all explode and just absolutely light up the screen. But that's the Technomancer. So as mentioned, we got to see all of his abilities. We got to see a partial legendary set and a full legendary set. The one we just looked at of course was a full legendary set. But let me know what you think of the Technomancer so far in the comments below. If you're enjoying Outriders videos, there will be a lot more. Let me know what kind of content you actually want to see for Outriders as well. And thanks for tuning in for this. Stay safe and I'll see you all again soon.